Hello, and welcome here on my working table, and welcome to this eco printing video. It is made of two steps, one where I eco dye with onion skins and one where I eco dye with strawberry leaves, and that's because the onion skins dyeing I did some time ago, and now I have got taken a picture of the fabric that came out of this, and today it was a sunny day and all the wild strawberries are peeking up everywhere in my garden, and I thought it was time to do a session with that. So I will put these two things here in the same video, even though I hadn't done the onion printing session today, but that doesn't probably matter very much. So this would be what this video is about. My name is Lisbeth and I'm Danish, and I use the things I can find here in Denmark for eco printing. You probably have other things where you live if you're eco printing, and so it must be. But I hope you will find this interesting. And the last thing I want to say is a little peep. I have a Ko-fi account, and you will find the link under the little word more if anybody wants to support my work with my channel or my work with the Stitch Circle Show challenge I have going on right now or for the rest of the year. So that is all I will say now, and I will just insert the clips I have been taking today and for some time ago, and let us see what that would look like. So are you ready? I am. Hello, and welcome to this little video about eco dyeing. And I'm certainly not an expert in eco dyeing, but right now all the wild strawberry are growing up everywhere in my garden. So I've just been out there and picking a lot of leaves from the wild strawberries, and I know they give a very nice print when you use these. There are much, I don't know if it's acid or what it is in these leaves, but they give a very nice impression, and especially right there, if you punch that flat, it will give a little dark spot. I have a pot, and I can show you that later, with some very dirty rusty tea water, and I will use that pot again. I call it my witch pot. But since already last time I did something, I used some very rusty cans and there was some rusty objects in it. I know there's a lot of rust in the water. I don't think I will use rusty cans to wipe my fabric around. So instead I have these sticks. It is a wooden stick. It's like if you have a broom or if your curtains is hanging, you can have these sticks. You buy them by meters in the hardware store. And I've just rolled, and I warped Vita wrap or Serrano wraps, I think it was also called, around it, to protect it a little. So instead I will go around it like this instead of using the cans. So that's one thing I would go in my pot. Also I have this thing here, and it is meant to be outside, and I know you can put a candle in the evenings when it's summer, and it makes some very fine shading through all the holes, and it is also very rusty. I will also just wipe some fabrics around that and dump it in my pot also. So that is all I will be doing today here. I probably will save this little clip and save it for some other small things about how you can dye or paint or do something to your fabric, so you get fabrics that is your own and nobody else has exactly the same fabric. But I don't know that yet, but now I can do this because I have all the leaves, and yeah, I will just show you quickly how I do that. I have a long strip here. I cut it so I know it fits here, and I put some plastic here under on my working table, and if I was doing it by myself, I would just go in my kitchen and do it on my kitchen. So right now I'm just spraying it with some water, and I have pure white vinegar here in this spray bottle, and now you can be happy it isn't smelling videos, because it's a strong smell, this white vinegar. So all I would do is place them here, totally random, and I will make some space between them, so I'm able to cut. For instance, if I in a fabric collage only want to use such a piece, then I can do that. So that is all I'm doing, and I'm squeezing it flat here with my index finger here. You can take a smaller one here, and there I have a big one here. And squeeze that flat there. And now I'm nearly running out of space here, but I don't want to show you the whole fabric here. It's I think it's 2 meters long or so. I can't quite remember. I have already used the other half of this for when I was doing something with onion skins. So I could also have taken and dipped this here into, so the fabric would have been wet. So, but this is all I'm doing, and then I will just take my stick here and go around and tighten it the best I can and roll it. And it's quite awkward because I'm sitting totally wrong for it, but I think you got it. That is all I'm going to do, and when I have done it on the whole length here, I will show you how I wipe. I have some old hems from a bed sheet or something I will use to wipe around it. So it ended up like this, and I tightened it the best I can. And then I will just take this hem here from an old sheet, or yeah, I think it was perhaps it was a duvet cover. I can't quite remember. But also I will tighten this the best I can. You could also use a string if you have some hemp string or hemp yarn. Do that. If you are doing it like I'm doing it here, you will probably get imprints on both sides of your fabric, because I haven't put a barrier sheet. Not barrier, yeah. If you put your fabric and your leaves, you can put a layer of thin plastic also on and roll it. Then you won't get print on both sides, but only on one side of your fabric. But I don't mind if there's something on the back here. So yeah, it isn't the full tutorial on how to do these things. This is just how I do it. And I'm, as I said, certainly no expert. So I will just cut this off here. It is a little too long. There. Away with that and go on the other side here, and then I can just make a little knot here. I think that is all, because if I make them too tight, they can sometimes be very difficult to pick up. So now this is ready. So again, I will spritz it with water, so it's pretty soaked. And again, give it a good spritz with my white vinegar. So now this is really ready to go in my witch pot. So that was one thing. The other thing I wanted to show you is this rusty, I think it is called a hurricane perhaps. I have used it in the summer outside. So I just cut out a piece of fabric, and let me see here, that is the same, about the same width as this is, and it is a little bigger than a can. So this really needs a good spritz also, and again I could have wetted my fabric, but I didn't. So now it's too late. I'm sitting in here at my working table. And again, I will also spritz it with white vinegar. Vinegar and rust does something to each other. I think the vinegar is doing that, some of the rust will release. So here I will just put it in the middle, I think, and also really tightly put it around here. There. You can see that it's buckling a little there, but I don't mind. And again, spritz it with water and vinegar. There. And here I also should put something on to keep it tight here, but I'm afraid if I put this very heavy, this was quite thick, put that on it, yeah, I don't know if the marks will go over. So I have a thinner strip of something here. I perhaps just will do a little around here, not much. I think I will dump it in the pot so it lies on that side. So that is all I'm going to do with this. I think there's 1 or 2 layers or rounds here, and I think I have done it a couple of years ago, and I think if I put more fabric on it, it won't go through all the layers. So that is all I will be doing now. So now I will go in my kitchen and prepare my pot, put some heat under it and dump these in, and then I will just boil them for 1.5 hours, I think. So these are the 2 things here that's going in my pot. So here it is, my witch pot, and it is not boiling, but it's simmering, and I have put my stove down to the lowest temperature it can get. But as you can see, last time I used it, my liquid stuff was up to here, so I think I need to put a little more something in, and you can see it is really dirty, rusty. Yeah, that was a tea bag in here also. So I think I have to dilute it a little. So first of all the vinegar probably has flown away, so I will put a splot of that in, and then I have just boiled my water here. Take that, and then I will put some boiling water in there also, so I can get it up a little higher there, and let it come up to the simmering point again, and I think it would do that nearly at the same time. So now I will see if I can put the things in here. So here my stick goes in. Whoop. And here was my rusty thing for candles. And whoop, in with that. There. And then I took the rusty cans and put some cardstock around it, and yeah, I don't know, I have made two, but I don't think there's room for two, but I'll just plunk one of it in. And I have these two pieces of fabric I will also just plunk in as they are, like dump in as they are here. I'm sorry for filming, it is hard to only have one arm and and holding my camera with the other hand. So there it is in all of it. And now I will find the lid. I have it somewhere. Put that lid on and let it be not boiling but simmering for 1.5 hours. And then of course it would have to cool, and then I can wrap it. But that can be maybe for tomorrow. But we will see. So nothing special about this. The only thing you need is a pot that's big enough so you can have your long sticks in if you're doing sticks, or if you're doing rusty cans, so you can put them in one way or the other. So remember to open your kitchen window if you're doing it inside. I don't think it is dangerous, but it doesn't smell very nice. And if you have such a thing, you can do it outside in the summertime. Do that instead. So now I am ready to show you what was in my pot. Everything is dry and ironed, and I'll start with the least exciting things first. This was the really thin, loose weaved cotton fabric, and there are some lovely marks on it. I don't know where they come. Yeah, they come from the pot because I must have hit something while it was blobbing around in the pot. But nothing exciting, no leaf prints or anything on here, but very useful with these fabrics. And when I took it out of the pot and I have rinsed it, I crumpled it up to a ball and let it dry, and that is why comes some of these lines here. So that can be used for many things, this piece here. So that was one thing. Another thing was this strip here I also put in, and it's the same. Isn't so much going on a little something there, because I don't know if you remember, here was sitting a big blob of rusty mud. It looks like mud. It was quite heavy, so I took the long strip here and swiped it over here and placed it there so some of it could rub off. The chunky thing was sitting there, and then it smeared off to there, and in that end here I just put that piece, so it ended up with a, yeah, you can see there is some kind of pattern, but you can't see what it is, and that doesn't bother me. I can always use this piece for something interesting. These kind of fabrics here are so useful for many things. But here you can see the impression of the hurricane, or the rusty thing I have in my garden with where I put light in and when it's dark. Really nice impression there, and a little rubbed off in the other end here. So this piece here, the same here. There are some lines here. I don't know where they come from, but yeah, very useful piece of fabric also. And now for the most exciting part here. This was the piece where I roll it around the wooden stick, and yeah, this is the back side and this is the front side. And I don't remember which end was closest to the pin, or which one was the last thing I spooled on, but I can't see any string marks. But again, it is not, I don't use a thin string, because if I had used a thin string, you were able to see the string marks. Here I used a big hem of a sheet or something. But these leaves really print well. And as I said earlier, if you don't want something on the back, put like a membrane, I don't know what it's called in English, but put a piece of plastic in between so you don't get in anything on the back side. But you can see there are really much in these prints, and I think it is the tea and the rust and the tea, the tannin of the tea, that gives these very purplish prints. And they get weaker and weaker the longer in I come in the spool, or the further out. I'm not sure, but I really like the color of this. So for me, it doesn't matter that all the prints not are totally nice prints of the leaf. You can always use these things for something, just a little of something. It's not always necessary to have a very clean print. Sometimes it's nice with something that just gives you a little imagination, or you can stitch the rest on, or yeah, whatever you want to do. And this here is the back side. So that was what came out of my effort. Yeah, it was not a very big effort, but of my jelly printing, not jelly printing, my echo printing dyeing session today. So this is just my way of doing it, and I know if you I'm so envious of people who live in Australia or Tasmania or wherever, New Zealand, and that has all these eucalyptus leaves and fern leaves and other things that give really strong leaf prints. But I don't have that here in Denmark. We have some other things that you don't have. So right now I will wait for the oak trees to get leaves on, because I know the oak tree also can give very nice prints. I had a chestnut tree here in my garden until last year, but it was growing so big, so our back neighbors complained that all the chestnuts were falling down on their greenhouse, and their crazy dog ate the chestnuts, and so we had to use a fortune to cut this big tree down, and it was, yeah, I think it was 30-40 years, and enormous big and a very lovely tree. But yeah, these big trees don't belong in a place, and these gardens we live in, they are needing much more space. So it must be. But I think I know other places here where I live where there are chestnut trees, and they also give very nice impressions. So it's not the last time I will do this. But I can take some close-ups of some of the fabrics here at the end of the video. These were the 2 pieces of cardstock I also put in, rolled around the cans, the rusty cans. The cans are not so rusty yet. It could be much worse, but since there were so many things in the pot, it teared several places. But I don't mind that. I can use it for collaging or anything. But I think at some point I will try to do the same as this, but put perhaps 4, 5 or 6 sheets around the can, and so only put these 2 cans in the pot and nothing else, so they can lie there without perhaps getting damaged in here in the corners and where they were wiped around. But you can see again the strawberry leaves gives very nice impressions. I just picked this bundle up of my witch pot, and in my witch pot there was some rusty items, some white vinegar and some tea. And all there is here in the bundle are some cotton fabric and onion skins, red and yellow onion skins, dried onion skins. That is all there is in here. So I am a little excited to see what's in here. It has been boiling on my stove for, yeah, about 1.5 hours. And it's just the hem here of the fabric. And I had tightened it up the best I could. And there are no dry leaves or anything in here, only onion skin. And I put a piece of plastic here on my table so I don't ruin my substrate. Oh yeah, there are some nice string marks, string lines here. And there are 2, I can't remember if I said it, but there are 2 rusty cans in here. Yeah, it's turned very greenish. That's a little funny. Yeah, perhaps I had to take it the other way because all the onion skins are sitting there. So, and I have been putting a good layer on. So you can see a lot of onion skin here. So it has taken very good not against it, but it looks very nice. But there are many meters here in this, so I think I will just, you can see how many, I've been saving these onion skins for a very long time, so I had a big bag of it, and then I sorry, squeezed it and crumbled it up and spread it out here on my substrate and just rolled it on. So yeah, and I think it looks so far so good, very nice. But yeah, you can see here a lot of it. It's a hot mess, but it don't smell of onion anymore, but when I was doing it, there was a strong smell of onion, but not anymore. And perhaps maybe it gets lighter and lighter the more I got into the middle here. But I think you have seen me doing this enough, so I will stop now, and then I will rinse it under the tap, the cold tap, and let it dry and iron it, and then tomorrow I can show you what it looks like. It's nearly too dark here now, so I can't film anymore, but you can see there's really a lot, really sloppy stuff here, and I think it looks like it gets more and more pale the more I reach the inside of the roll. But I will take my dirty little finger and stop my video here. It got a little darker when I reached my trusty rusty cans here, and maybe I can move you over here so you can see. It's a big pile of onion skins lying there. But I will take my fabric to the sink and rinse it. Yeah, I want to show you what came out of my effort with putting onion skins in, lots of onion skins on this strip here, and this was around 2 cans, but you can see it on the earlier clip. I have ironed it, but it has wrinkled a little again, and I don't know why it turned this green color. You never know quite what you get, because there's a chemical reaction going on in your witch pot. There's the tea, and there's the rust pieces and the rusty cans, and there's the vinegar, and I also have forgotten some walnuts in, and whatever is in that pot. But it was yellow and red onion skins, and it turned this lovely green color. And there aren't leaf impressions on it, because it's just onion skin, and I put them really close. It was totally covered in onion skins, and here you can see it turns a little more yellow orangey. So there's a lot of possibilities with this piece of fabric here. I really am happy I tried it, but it has also taken me and some of the people I know a very long time to save all these onion skins. So I'm starting saving them again and asking people to save their onion skins for me, because it's not the last time I'll do this. Here you can see it is turning orangey. And now there comes more green into it, and here it gets darker again and darker. And you can see I think there's 2 meters here in this roll here, and I can get so much out of this. So isn't that lovely? I really also like this piece there. And there you can see the can where I started rolling it on. So this was how this piece looked. And again, you can do exactly the same on paper, but it is a little more brittle to work on paper, but you can work on paper. So I will just say now, if you have been inspired and like what you have been seeing here, please give my video a thumbs up and consider subscribing my little Danish channel. I would appreciate that very much. I do a lot of different things here on my channel, so there will probably be something that interests you more than others, and look for that. But else I will just say, please be playful and creative, and please stay safe and be nice to everybody. That's the thing I always end my videos with saying, so that I also have done today. So take care and see you soon again. Bye bye.